trouble, particularly on the pitch and in training as well. You know, he was very. He trained how he played. I didn't do that. I found another way. It didn't involve training. I was there, but I wasn't doing the best I could have done. As far as I was concerned, the games were supposed to be important.
Yeah. We have a number of photos from your career. If we show you a photo, can you explain where the photo is from and what memory it brings to you, please?
Yeah, this is some French dude. That would have been Sunderland 5-0, I think. And part of my, well, a big part of my career and what people remember about me is that I became a master of a 13-inch pass. So I passed it to him and he chipped it into the top corner, or chipped it over the goalkeeper. Eric Cantona. Eric was a cracking guy. Yeah, brilliant.
And then you get the assist with Beckham as well?
Yeah, that was another.
Two of the greatest assists in United's history.
Yeah, but the one for Beckham though was that we were in the game against Wimbledon, and I was sub, and the manager told me, "You calm the game down. You go on and calm the game down, and just kill the game. You know, just keep it quick." And so I went on, and almost the first thing I do, I get the ball and I pass it to David, and then I move, expect him to pass the ball back to me, and then I'll pass it, and we'll keep the ball. And he's just inside the centre circle, and I know that what he's doing because I could see him shaping up behind him. I'm thinking he's going to kill me if you're shooting from there, because he's told me thing with the game, and I've taken you the ball. I'm the one that's going to get the tear drive for it. And I'm like, oh, that looks good. And then I used to have a lot of supporters at Selhurst Park, and they all cheered, and I thought, you scored because it was that far away, you know. You're not quite sure if it's gone over at the top of the net or, but you think that's gone in. And then all I could think about was, oh no, it's a Scottish goalkeeper who's playing for Wimbledon. I thought he's the one he's going to get. There's always this humour about Scottish goalkeepers. Like going back to, there was an international in 1963 where England beat Scotland 9-3. And the joke all the time after that was, even in Scotland, would be, what's the time? And it would be 8:30. That was the guy's name.
Yeah.
You know, so Scottish goalkeepers always got a bad press, particularly in England. So that's what I didn't really. I jumped on his back, and that's why you see that in the videos. And I gave him a wee cuddle, and that's what you see in the videos. And it got me out of it. Now, don't know if you see me in it now.
And this one?
That was a 20-man brawl, and I only found out recently, I thought it was a 21-man brawl. I knew that their goalkeeper, David Seaman, hadn't participated because it was too far away from him to wander down, and he thought, well, by the time I get there, I'll be finished. And the other one who just outed himself the other day was Clayton Blackmore, who said he wasn't involved either. You can't remember him playing in the game. But yeah, there was I accidentally kicked somebody twice on the back.
Ouch!
Accidentally?
Twice, not just once, twice. And then everybody...
Was it the same person?
Oh, the same guy.
Are you sure that the first one was an accident and the second
Both
one
of them were
was...
accidents.
Are you sure? See, it was the same person,
Actually,
same place.
I think if you look closer, he actually threw himself into my foot. Twice.
Yeah, I was about to say, did that player probably have a good review before the kicks anyway?
He was lying like that. Anyway, Alex Ferguson is doing a great thing, saying you should be glad he's playing today, because if there's anything good, you needed it, he'll be a shoulder, he'll be a shoulder, meaning that you were a good team or a good unit, you didn't have to like each other, and that was the case for both teams. They all joined in with their player, and they all joined in on behalf of me. But one of their players, a sneaky little lad called Anders Limpar, a Swedish kid who'd scored the goal, when it was all pushing and shoving and people grabbing you by the throat, he came round behind and he punched me in the side of the head.
Ouch.
And but then one of my colleagues chased him around it like it was in the playground. It was that's what it was like. You know, it was like chasing the kids in the playground. And,
And you're like, and everyone's like, well, that's normal.
well, you don't know. You forget there's 44,000 people there and it's live on telly. So you forget all those things. And then so I ended up with 2 stitches in me as well. So the melee finished. I'd never been sent off ever. Not since that 9-year-old boy all the way through to 29 or whatever it was there. Never ever been booked, but never been sent off. I thought, I'm not getting away with this. This is straight red card. And the referee was a very experienced referee called Keith Hackett, who'd always been told, don't go in when it's doing that, just step back, because it'll calm down. And it did, it calmed down after a few seconds, really. And I thought, oh, we've gone. And he booked a lad that I kicked.
Why did you do that?
Because it was a bad tackle before, that's why I lost my... went into the red zone. People talk different zones you're in. I was proper angry. I just lost it because he could have hurt my teammate and I wasn't having that. But there was a wee things that had gone on before as well. I mean, some history between the two of us anyway. But that was it. I had to go on. Well, I got fined. I volunteered to get fined because you had to be seen to be doing something, you know. So I got fined 2 weeks' wages, which wasn't the best, you know. But
And this one?
It's not the clearest photo, but
Yeah, I noticed. I had to look close and go, what? I thought, oh, I see, it's pixels.
right. What I like about that one is this lad here.
What is he doing?
He's the captain, right? He's called Danny McGrain. And clearly he thinks I'm going to score because he's not ready for anything, is he?
He's not doing anything!
He's like that, well, I'm not running in. If he misses, if the goalie saves it, I'm not running in. That's what he's saying. Basically, that's hilarious and that's it. But it was old firm game, Celtic Rangers. And a lad ran out of the Rangers end. Managed to get past the police and stewards and ran straight towards me. And I thought, well, what do? You know, do you wait till he gets close and punch him, or what? I don't know. Really, just
Punch!
well, if he's going to punch you, you know, try it. Well, big tackle you can, just let him. Anyway, he just ran. I don't know what he was doing, but he ran towards me and then decided to veer away and ran. You know, just wait. I don't know what he was doing, but he got caught then. So I wasn't involved in any assault either way.
Okay.
I scored 2 penalties in that game against an English goalkeeper.
Oh dear.
There was a big drinking culture in football in the 90s. How did Sir Alex Ferguson deal with this, and did he change parts of this culture?
Well, I think there is a certain amount of a myth about that. Now I think there's probably more drinking than there is now in professional sport. But again, you're professional. So if you said Brian Lawson was involved in part of the drinking culture, he would not have a drink 2 days before the game. So Thursday, Friday, nothing. Saturday you would have a couple of drinks after the game. But usually you're too tired to be able to drink for too long, right? And then we started being successful. So it was a game midweek, so you went out Monday or Tuesday, Wednesday play, maybe have a beer after the game. So really Sunday was the only time you could probably have a drink. So once a week they would maybe have a blowout. Now occasionally that blowout would start at lunchtime and go on for 12 hours. So that once a week. But with regards to that, people talk about other people involved and do say, oh, it's because of the drinking thing. It wasn't because of the drinking thing. It's because when you look at anything with regards to team sport, it's the manager, the coach is interested in players that are available, you know, fit and available to pull the jersey on. Right? If you're injured, you're of no use to them whatsoever. I'm no interest in you. And if you've got a record that suggests that you can't, your body was going to let you down over a period of time, So he changed, he looked at all of those things and decided players that he felt were injured far too often had to go. Other people would say it was to do with it's not, it's to do with the fact that they weren't available, and he bought other players. And if you look at the players he brought in, a number of them ended up playing for 8, 9, 10, 11, and in Dennis Irwin's case 12 years of 50, 60 games a season. Now that's what you need to have to, at that time, to be consistent and to get consistent form. And when you win and you want to, and you want to win again, and that's what he had. So yeah, there was more than that. I don't know, I'm not involved in professional football, but there is more. There was a little bit more drinking than there was then.
Wait, back up. So you're telling us that people potentially go into games drunk?
No. It might have looked like that.
You sure?
Well, yeah, because they wouldn't go out. You couldn't go. And that's the point I was going to say to you, that this is pre-internet and pre-mobile phones with cameras and recording devices. Alex Ferguson knew everything that was going on because people would tell him. So if you went somewhere, like that story I was telling about me wandering about North Manchester, somebody would phone up and say, I saw. Sometimes it wasn't correct, but a lot of the time it was correct, you know. So he knew. So when he was pulling you into the office to ask you if you'd been out, he knew the answer. He knew so that if you were lying, so that, no, you're lying, don't lie to me, make it worse. Right? He knew. So he knew that if you transgressed and you were doing something that potentially was wrong, you would get punished for it. And that punishment, whether you weren't playing or it would be a financial punishment. Those financial punishments, unlike the ones today, were hard for people, you know.
Did you find, sorry, can I jump in a little bit? Did you find it, did Sir Alex manage players differently? Because I imagine managing Cantona would be different to managing Gary Neville.
Yeah.
How did he manage that?
He managed the way that he felt that they would respond. So he was trying to find a way of inspiring you, I suppose, or I don't want to be saying it was a fear, a regime of fear, but respect probably meant more. And that he knew the players that he could give a hairdryer to, that they would use to improve their performance. Eric didn't get that. He never got like that. So he was managed in a different way, but he responded to whatever way that he felt. Well, he responded in the way that he was managing. Now, Alex Ferguson learned, it was for me the best pavement psychologist. So he learned about psychology from the street and from playing from other people. And he adapted as he went through. So when it came to managing Ronaldo, he managed Ronaldo sometimes differently from Wayne Rooney, because Ronaldo would come from Madeira through Lisbon. And there was a different culture, and he developed different ideas of how to manage these players. And the squad's got bigger as well, so kept finding a way of inventing himself as well as reinventing teams. So yeah, it's all down to the understand. You understood the person and how to get the best out of them. That changed, because you listen to some of the Aberdeen players who just celebrated 40 years of winning the Cup Winners' Cup. They would say that it was like every day he was like that, you know. But I used to say to people about what was it like, you know, what's happened. I used to say that later on, not long after just before he'd retired, really. So I'd known him for 20 odd years then, and I used to tell people that if they asked me what it was like, I said he's calmed down. He's calmed down to mad. But he developed him. He was great at pavement psychology, brilliant.
You were the first player to score 20 or more goals for Man United since George Best. What was it about Man United that made you settle so quickly?
I think the fact that the manager wanted me any player, so you knew you were going to play all the time, and you wanted to play well and reward his faith in you. Because, you know, so they paid quite a lot of money. You know, they only went to tribunal, but paid 850,000, which was 10 times of what I'd gone to Celtic for only 4 years previously. So he wanted to do well for him, for the faith he put in. We didn't win anything though. I didn't really hold much store in the fact that nobody scored, because in the same period Manchester United didn't win the league. In that same period, I thought that was more of a story. I didn't score 20 league goals after that, but we won the league. So it was nice to put something away, we do, but we finished second, but we were miles behind Liverpool. So.
Okay.
Tom, do you want to do 22?
Sure. Eric Cantona, right? Is that how you pronounce it?
Cantona.
Cantona, okay. Famously got sent off for kicking a fan. What did Sir Alex Ferguson say to the team and Eric at that incident?
Well, he didn't get sent off for doing that. He got sent off for trampling all over somebody.
Oh damn.
So he got sent off for
So he not only kicked a fan, he trampled someone too.
He trampled on somebody on the pitch, yes.
Is that by accident like yours? Or not?
This is worse than mine.
I doubt that kicking a fan was an accident though.
Well, yeah, no, that wasn't an accident. But the story was that the fan had said something about his mother, you know, so he only kicked him in the chest, he didn't.
That could have done serious damage.
Oh yeah, could have done, yeah. It was, again, it was a situation that if it had happened to other players, you just have to accept that you would have probably got sacked for it, but because it was Eric and he made the difference, he was the game changer. You know, because of things, you were winning games and you were winning titles. I think he just said that, tried to be supportive of him and not judgmental, which was difficult, as I say, because I'm quite confident if I'd have done it, that would have been the end of my Manchester United career.
Can you talk to us about the rivalry with Liverpool? How did it feel to play in these games, and did you enjoy going to Anfield?
Oh, I love going to all the away games. It's great going to places where they don't like you. You know, you're not quite sure when you're playing at home with some of your home fans might not like you, but when you play away, Anfield's great atmosphere, wonderful atmosphere, and got a few poor results there, but also got a few good results there as well, so good experiences. And you kind of form an opinion about the rivalry between Manchester and Liverpool, only based on football. But I've been lucky enough to spend some time in Liverpool, socialising recently, and they're all nice people, you know. It's just when it comes to the football that there's this rivalry, but the atmosphere is brilliant. Great to play, and even as an opposition player, that's the kind of things you wanted to be involved in football for, playing in front of fervent crowds in great stadiums against great players and great teams, and hopefully you're going there to win. And the first Premier League, going to places like Anfield and winning gave you a platform for going on to win, and we beat Liverpool 2-1 at Anfield. I scored a winning goal, which would have been chopped off by VAR because it was a foul.
But no one noticed.
No,
so no harm, no foul.
Nobody noticed, for me and the player in front of me. It was a foul Scott as well. So. And to score a goal, that was a winning goal at the Court. It was great. Yeah.
We played this game with all of the footballers we have spoken to, such as Harry Redknapp, Connor Cody, Sammy Lee and more. We will say the name of the player that you have played with, and we want you to tell us a story or a memory about them. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Ali McCoist.
Alan McCoist, for some reason, particularly on the pitch, I don't know what it was, I think we maybe looked a wee bit similar, even though we really don't look similar. And actually his mum got us mixed up once. Was shouting, well done and all that kind of thing, and I think my dad was at the game and said, that's your son over there. Oh! I said that actually another day as well. I just reminded that we used to stay at a lovely hotel in Scotland called Glen Eagles Hotel. It was part of the preparation for Scotland games. And there was a Scotland international rugby player there. Called John Rutherford, and he came over and started talking to me about the game the day before, but quite clearly I realised he was talking about the Rangers game. I'm not playing for Rangers, so, and he's talking away to me, and I think Alistair just to come to the side, just nodded to me and went, "Oh, I'm really sorry." I didn't say anything, I was just enjoying him, keeping going. I thought, this is great, he's no idea that I'm not. Don't know why, I don't really look like him, but...
Gary Pollister.
The most idle person I've ever met in my life. He wouldn't answer the door, he wouldn't answer the phone, wouldn't make his dinner. The only thing he did for himself was go to the toilet. That was all everything else he got done for him. Most idle man I've ever met.
Well, there is one thing you could do to make him get off his butt and do stuff. When he's in bed, just take him off of it.
It's a big lad though, you know, so he's like,
Help!
It's got a long reach, you know, and I might punch you, you know, it was just... I don't think...
Get help and wear armour!
He might need to do that, yeah. Also, as well as he wouldn't share his chocolate, I don't know. He used to bring chocolate to away trips and he'd lick the chocolate so you couldn't take them.
Gross.
Lee Sharp, because he was eating them.
Lee Sharp.
Lee Sharp always got caught. So when he was out, when he shouldn't have been, or when he was doing Sharp, he always got caught. Great player. Very fast. I liked him because he knew what he was. He would just knock the ball past someone and cross it in, and I just would be there to try and head it into the goals. Unfortunately, he got an injury to his knee, which I think made it more difficult for him to excel. But and he's a very good golfer now. He plays he's very good at golf.
Mark Hughes.
Mark Hughes, his nickname's Sparky. Somebody asked me the other day, how did he get his nickname? And I don't know. I'm going to have to ask him when the next time I see him. The thing about Mark, we used to call Mark a Tasmanian Devil. It's a cartoon character.
Yeah.
Because he was the nicest, quietest man you'd meet, but on the training pitch, and on the pitch, he was wild and angry and fierce and, you know, competitive. So you'd be like, couldn't quite work out how, you know, how those two people were the same person, you know. The Sparky would rather shoot than pass.
Thank you for answering those. A group of players called the Class of '92 came through the youth system and into the first team. This included players such as David Beckham, Ryan Giggs and more. Can you tell us about this group of players were like at a young age, and could you see what amazing potential they had?
Well, when football started to get played on more different days, like on Sundays and Monday nights, we would train in the Saturday morning. When we'd finished, the youth team, if they're playing at home, would go and watch them, and you could see, I could see players that I liked. I mean, I always liked Paul Scholes, because you could see, Ryan was already involved. I mean, I remember like Ryan coming in training and somebody gave the ball and he beat somebody and I thought, oh my God, he's running with the ball. I think I'm going as fast as I possibly can. I'm like, he's incredible. But in that, the youth team, I thought Paul Scholes, I just liked him. He played, he was small, you know, the strip was hanging off him and he had asthma and different things like that, you know.
Yeah.
But in that group of players, apart from Gary and David, Nicky you can see as well, with Ben Thornley, who ended up getting a bad injury that finished him really. He was potentially, there was a lad, the Docherty, an Irish lad, he was a good player. Chris Casper, centre half, that went on to have a decent career. And you had this lad who just run around all over the place. He played centre forward, but he just ran around all over the place. Like he just kept running, didn't really know how to play, but ran around all over the place. And he ended up getting a career in the game. He was called Robbie Savage. He is Robbie Savage. So there was a lot of good players. You could see different things. And then when I was not quite a regular, then I used to play and train with reserves sometimes, so I could see them, and so I knew. So like you talk about Gary Pallister. Gary Pallister got a row from the manager once because he didn't know that Gary Neville had a long throw. Gary had never seen him before, so that I knew he had a long throw because that's one of his attributes. I never thought David was a player. I couldn't see a player. David Beckham. He just wanted to hit the ball really far all the time, and most of the time it went out. So I couldn't see that. Scholes, yeah, it was great. And funny as well. Paul Scholes speaks more in the first 30 seconds when he's doing TV commentary now than he did in the whole time that I've known him as a person. Never was said, so. But you could see that there was qualities in some of them, and they all did very well for themselves too. And they're a tight group still, which is great, So.
Can we play another quick fire game with you, please?
Yeah.
We will give you two options, and you have to choose your favourite. Are you ready?
Basically, this is a would you rather.
Right, okay. Right, go.
Okay. City break or beach holiday?
City break. It all depends what city you're sending it to.
We have no idea. You just pick the
I
city.
don't want to go to a war torn.
No. We will not send you to anywhere near there. No way. If there's even a small margin of you dying, not happening.
There's always that chance anyway you go on there, but yeah, city break.
Okay, if there's a chance of you dying over say 10%, we're not sending you anywhere near that.
What do I get at the city? I can't lie on the beach, so it's like I can't stay still. And
And personally, there are crabs on the beach. Why would you not go anywhere near those pinching things?
I like the sun, but it doesn't like me. I just get bumped a bit. So.
Yeah, join the club. I'm a ginger, and my mum told me that gingers don't tan, they burn.
No.
I burn. I don't tan. I burn.
Yeah. So city break all day. Yeah.
Celtic Park or Old Trafford?
Celtic Park.
Okay. Gary or Phil?
Gary.
Deep fried haggis or deep fried Mars bar?
Oh my god!
I've only had Mars bar once, and it was actually alright. Yeah, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. But haggis, deep fried haggis. Well, rather it wasn't deep fried, but yeah, occasionally I think haggis out of the chip shop. Yeah.
Okay. Scoring or assisting?
Scoring.
Okay. Oasis or Blur?
Pulp.
Good choice, but okay.
Ronaldo or Messi?
Messi.
Win the World Cup with Scotland or treble with Man United?
Oh. World Cup. As I said, football, I take it, you're not picking any other sport. Tennis, Monopoly, rugby and all that. Skiing. No.
Fight against one chicken the size of an elephant or 10 elephants the size of chickens.
That's a brilliant question.
We're doing this for laughs.
He's got to be the small elephants.
Okay.
I don't fancy my chances against either of them. I think I'd have to go for if you put me in the ring with something, there's no way I'm going to ring with a chicken the size of an elephant.
Yeah, they
I'm not sure I
hurt.
get the ring with a chicken the size of a chicken.
My sister says that as you know, chickens are descended from dinosaurs, and my sister says, and they know it.
Yeah.
They know they're descended from dinosaurs. They know.
Particularly the roosters have got sharp
Yeah,
claws.
the roosters are nasty. When at least from the TikTok they are.
But I think they'll go for the small elephants.
Yeah, at least then you know.
See, the thing about small elephants, I think about it, if they, we should be able to run away from them until they got tired, really, you know, so just keep running.
An elephant is slower than a chicken. Wait.
Small elephants,
But
I think,
hang
are
on, that yeah, but what if they also gain the speed of a chicken because of the size?
Oh, you're
You're toast.
toasting me, yeah. I was like, I'm going to have some bad dreams about small elephants.
I'm sorry.
Manchester United had not won a league title for 26 years, and then in the 90s the team became very successful. What had changed at the club to make it so successful?
It was just increments of improvement. Say the number of good players available to play. There was good players when I was, all the time that I was there, but they weren't also able to play. Good players available to play, and then developing a good, strong team that had trust, loyalty and respect for each other. And when you get to the thing, so we had a real tough time in the last old First Division when Leeds won it. We were really close, you know, and lots of people said that we would never rise from that. Would that be too much of a blow to us, psychologically or physically maybe even? But we were determined from the moment that season finished. You know, I'd hated pre-season, and I was so keen to get back because we knew we were really, really close. And the following season we managed to win it. And then when you win it, it takes away a lot of the pressure of all those years before. So when those young players come into the squad and then eventually into the team, nothing was ever mentioned about that because of all that gone, you know. So it was easier. It's a better platform for them, and they got a lot of support and advice and encouragement from, and also criticism from us because we wanted to continue to be successful. They knew what the standard was, and they achieved that and arguably went beyond that, you know.
Sir Alex Ferguson guided the team into a very successful. How many typos?
Team, yeah, that's right.
Team.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about how he managed? Did he oversee everything at the club?
In the beginning he did, but the club was a lot smaller than it was when he retired. He knew all the players, he knew everything about all the players. If we knew what he wanted from his staff, they knew what he wanted, what was expected of them. He knew everybody's name at Old Trafford, and he'd always ask them by name, which was I think he's still got this ability or a learned trait that if he's introduced to people he remembers their name right away. And I think that made people feel very good, you know, that Alex Ferguson knows who I am. So he was prepared, and that he had been successful before. He knew what he wanted. He was driven, very driven, and he laid down high standards on and off the pitch. Discipline. With the discipline for me that was particular, and it still applies to me now, is timekeeping. So I was here an hour before 11, I was here at 10 o'clock, because I want to be early all the time. So that when people talk about Fergie time, he's pointing to his watch at the end of the game, it's not that. It's about when he told you there was a meeting or to be somewhere, you had to be there 10 minutes before. And that was again part of maybe his judgment of what you were like, because you can't turn up 5 minutes after the game's kicked off. Maybe a problem there, you know, wandering down the tunnel, putting your strip on, and game could be 1-0 down. So discipline.
In 1993, you won your first Premier League title. What are your memories of that season?
remember that we were bottom after 2 or 3 games, I think 3 games we were bottom. And one of it's Stretford End, which is traditionally where the most fervent and vocal supporters were, had been knocked down because we're building a new stand there. And the Eric came, and that was probably something that kind of changed for all of us. So very surprised that a team like Leeds, who won the league the year before, were willing to let him go. And we'll let him go for such a small amount of money. Really, and we all expected, in a way, him to live up to his reputation, which was a spoiled boy, you know. But he came into the dressing room, and his behaviour on and off the pitch, apart from occasionally kicking fans, was great. And he was a great player, and great to play with. So.
Except when he's assaulting fans.
It only happened once. And he got sent to prison for it.
Good. You don't kick someone out of nowhere and get away with it.
They didn't get away with it, no.
We have a few questions from some of our listeners, if you can answer them for us. The first question comes from Steve Morgan, who asks, what was the best sketch by an apprentice at Man United's ground at the Christmas show?
Oh God, that's brilliant. I didn't know about that. They were great. Some of the things were fantastic.
So could we? What do you mean by the question? Because as you,
they were expected. Part of the, I suppose the other way of finding out the potential of young players was putting them in situations they weren't comfortable with. So they all knew that it started a long time ago that there would be some kind of thing going at Christmas lunch. So they were expected to do something, and then after a few little things, maybe somebody would do a joke or something like that kind of thing. It got quite, and they started getting really looking forward, you know, because it'd be the first years and second years. So the first years would be a bit nervous and all because they'd never done it before. And then they were desperate to get dressed up, and basically it was a way of ridicule what they saw in the players and the staff as well. Right, and they were allowed to get away with it, you know, so you could play Alex Ferguson and put him in situations that were a bit different than you know you were going to get away with it, you know, because it was humour and parody and all that kind of thing. Maybe one of the funniest ones was when we were at Carrington, and there was one of the lads, so somebody, they had a script and all, they did all this script writing and all that stuff, so then it was almost like a unique script, you know. And so they'd have it near all the first team players that come down, and they'd have a little bit, they'd play them in different little bits, whatever they saw, there would be, you know, like Ronaldo, he loved his body and his strength, he'd be, somebody would be dressed up as him and they'd come in and whatever, and he'd say some different things, and they were quite good at different accents, and everybody would be laughing, oh, look at that shoe, you know, like, oh, you do, look at that shoe, and they'd go, I don't do that, do it. It was quite good. One of them was that I mentioned Ruud van Nistelrooy, who was the Dutch forward, and then outside the balcony, which was one of the big windows outside the balcony, one of the lads was running along with a horse's head on, right, because he had a very long face, and he was like, I don't understand this, and whereas Rio Ferdinand and Paul Scholes and kind of they're crying, laughing at this lad who's, and this Van Nistelrooy was angry, you know, because I'm not a horse. So that's one particular that I remember. The bit that were great, really go into it, yeah. And you were going to get something. I mean, I think sometimes I was portrayed as a big issue seller. I was coaching then at the time, so they come in with somebody with a big issue seller, you know. And then switch the numbers on and all that, just in case there was ever a doubt of who it was, you know, they'd turn around at the school, so they have all that, you know.
Our next question comes from Brian Baldwin, who asks, having played for Celtic and Man United, which derby was the most intense, the Glasgow derby or United against Liverpool?
Yeah, the Glasgow derby has always been the most intense, because I think because it's part of the same city, you know, Liverpool, Manchester, separated by several miles, but Celtic Rangers, Rangers Celtic is I think it's involved for the whole week during the game and certainly for a couple of days after, depending on what the result is. And it's a shame now that there's no, they played last weekend at Rangers and there was no Celtic fans, no away fans. I think that's taken some of the attraction out of it for me.
Thank you for answering those questions.
You won 4 league titles with Man United. Is there a certain one that stands out most for you, and why?
I think not really. You won in the first one because you had the disappointment. We got really close the year before, and we were all disappointed, not disillusioned, just disappointed. So winning that one, and it then took away that hoodoo that had been there for 26 years. So yeah, when you do something for the first time, I suppose, yeah, that's so winning the first one. And I mean, part of the daydreaming when I was a young boy was winning things, but what happened in all of my career, not just my playing career, but talking about my playing career, that one of the things I did, and I would have said, nah, no chance. Even the World Cup scenario would have been, if you'd have said, well, would you take this as a body of a football career? It's like, yeah, more than happy to have all of that, yeah. And all the other experiences as well. I mean, even losing in cup finals is better than getting beat at the semi.
What did the fans think of you whilst at Man United, and how would you like to be remembered by the fans?
I think they were appreciative of what kind of player you were. I mean, they used to say that I was here, there and everywhere, I'm not sure that's exactly what you're supposed to be doing, but, so the fact that you had a sort of positive song about it, a chant, or whatever, I think that it would be someone who just did the very best they could. Might be rubbish, but just did the best they could. It'd be a team player.
You left Man United in 1998. Why did you leave the club?
Because I was old.
You're not that old.
I was then in football terms, yeah. So no, my time had come. I was no longer able to be. I was no longer a Premier League player at that time, So I went back to Scotland for a little while. So you don't want anything to come to an end, but in football, I knew what the kind of lifetime span of a football player was. And I also 35 in my head, and I got to 35, so I only missed 12 weeks because I didn't tackle anybody. You through choice, you'd stay. Well, of course you would, but you can't. You've got to let somebody else have another go,
The following season, Man United won the famous treble. Do you feel any regret leaving Man United and not staying on for one more season?
Well, I didn't have a choice, so you'd always want to be involved in situations like that, but as I say, that was my time, that was okay. The following season, it was somebody else's time, they're an incredible achievement. You feel proud that you were part of the building the foundations for such a great season. So that was the thing I had thought about it. Delighted for the ones that knew who were involved.
Brian, am I reading this right? That says kid.
Yeah.
Brian Kidd asked you to be his assistant manager in Blackburn in 1998. How did you find that role? And sadly, Blackburn got relegated from the Premier League that year.
Well, I wasn't an assistant, I was just first team coach, but if you look at a number of Premier Leagues in regards to relegation, in the time that we were there, we got a point a game, and if you got a point a game over the period of the season, you'd stay up. So I think the period of time beforehand was before we got there was the thing that ultimately sent them down. We nearly got, we could nearly got, but we didn't manage that. So, but it was a great experience being involved in the other side of football, watching and learning about coaching and management.
You returned to Man United in 2001 to be the reserve team manager and won some silverware in the first season. Can you tell us about that role, and is it something you enjoyed?
Well, I just finished my A licence as a football coach, and I got the opportunity to go there. A 1-year contract. I thought it's a great chance to practice on my own something that I'd been learning for 2 years previously, and it was great going back because Alex Ferguson just gave me a bit of paper with a number of people on it and just let me go on with it. Occasionally he'd come over and ask me what was happening, what I was doing. I loved it. Give you a chance to say practice, and what I learned then was because you had Alex Ferguson, you had Jim Ryan, Mick Phelan was the same, around the same age as me, but he'd been coaching longer than me. You had Paul McGuinness, Tony Whelan, Mark Dempsey, and they'd all been coaching a lot longer than me, and I recognised that actually I knew nothing about coaching, I'd done the courses, but I didn't really know anything, so it's great to be able to just sit and watch them and listen to them and seek their advice at times about different situations, mainly to do with man management of the young players. But it was certainly a challenge. Sometimes you would have, I remember having a coaching session where I had 2 players, so I had 2, and then the manager asked for 1, so I had 1, and he wasn't happy because because the one that I had went over to the train with the first team, and the one that I was left with wasn't happy because he hadn't been asked to go over. And I was starting to explain that it was only because they were looking for a defender and he was a forward. So, and then the very next day, I had 31. So that was the kind of, as a reserve team coach I had, so you had to be very adaptable to changes in numbers. And they happened consistently where they would come over and take somebody away from you to go and do something with the first team, or they'd send somebody over and you just had to adapt. But I loved being involved, I loved the coaching, and it lasted. I ended up with different roles in Manchester for another 14 years, so I had a chance to be involved in that and get shouted at by Alex Ferguson for another 14 years. 25 years he was shouting at me. He's still shouting at me when I go to see him.
You then became the director of the youth academy at United. What did this role entail, and did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I did enjoy it. There's not a role that I loved coaching more. I loved doing the youth team. Probably was the ideal thing. But a number of people suggested that I might make a reasonable academy manager. So I applied for the job and I got the job. And it was then I had to manage a lot more adults, not just manage the young individuals. But I had great staff. I mean, all the people there nearly all the people had been recruited previously by Les Kershaw, was a client manager who'd been recruited by Alex Ferguson. So it made the job a lot more comfortable. And I just let people go on and do what they were doing. The only time, my kind of role and responsibility was to occasionally give them a row when it wasn't quite right, and I didn't have to do that often, so it was great. It's like being a headmaster, you just let the teachers do what you like,
Exactly.
until they do it wrong.
Do you want to get back into football in the future?
I didn't, I've never really thought that I've ever left it. I think football's left me in a way, so I've just got to become a bit of a dinosaur, you know, like a small chicken dinosaur.
Sorry!
And I like the, I've given the choice. I mean, I liked it so much that I was there every day, and I never city break, anything like that. I just really enjoyed what I was doing. When you're removed from that, you discover that actually having the opportunity and the freedom to do what you like is also quite good. So to be able to come here today, for example, was brilliant. You know, and not thinking, oh, I've got to get back for training or I can't do it. So you have to, for me, I've always like trying to be, I think I'm quite positive as a person, you know.
You also have your own podcast called Life with Brian. Can you tell us a little bit about that, please? What do you talk about on your podcast?
We talk about whoever the guest is, so it's about them. And I like doing, very much like you two have done, finding out questions that they go, oh, I've never heard that before, you know, that's a good question. It makes them think about whatever particular subject we're going to do. I'm astonished with the number of people have agreed to be on so far. All of them great guests in their own way. And it's, I think that the thing is that I can imagine if there's one person that listens to it and it gives them some pleasure. Because this time started out during lockdown, which was tough for everybody, so without being condescending, I wanted to have something that was a bit humorous, and I think we managed to achieve that, you know. But it's all down to the guest. It's up to them. You find, certainly I find that if you find a few questions for them, then they're away talking about whatever they want to talk about. We don't have that. There's the other two lads that do with it. They've got a little bit of a script. I don't have any script. I just have a...
You wait.
Sometimes, yeah. Do some research, you know. I'm not letting go in and have no idea about it, but they've got a fallback. So it's a good little team, three of us.
Before we finish, we would like to play a game with you that we play with all of our guests. The game is called Wrong Answers Only. We will ask you a range of questions and you have to give us a wrong answer. Are you ready? Favourite ground in the Premier League?
Favourite ground? Oakwell Park.
Okay. Best player you ever played with?
Pelé.
Okay. Highlight of your career?
Opening batsman for England in the Ashes.
Best friend in football?
Best friend in football?
Yeah.
That would be, what's it called? Severiano Ballesteros at the time. Sadly's passed away.
The best thing about Brian McClair is?
The best thing about Brian McClair?
Yeah.
We're sorry, we're basically having yourself insulted